This week we had college day at our school. So on Wednesday, a number of boys came back from all these different schools that they are attending, and it was so great. And so great on a level where, like, especially as a freshman English teacher, and I'm sure this could happen at any age for any number of reasons, but you see these kids come in and they're these little tiny men. You know, I tease them in freshman year that they're like, they have these weak little mustaches that looks like Velcro that kind of like has been used too many times. Or they have 3 chin hairs and they're like, yo, Reynolds, this is my beard. And I'm like, bro, it looks like when Beavis and Butthead like shaved their heads and glued it to their faces.
Okay, dude, it's beard time.
Here we go. A little bit there. Some over there.
Whoa.
To see these dudes come back and, you know, that you weren't sure about. You just, life was either messy or they were messy or they were 90 miles an hour. Like, some kids come in freshman year and it looks like if the Cookie Monster and Animal from the Muppets made a baby, this is what they would have. But to have kids come back and be like grown men that have grown into something, that have made you proud, that are in college or found their own way or are figuring it out. It is the greatest compliment you could ever have as a teacher. And it doesn't even have to come back to you. I didn't even need anyone to say you made the difference or you're such a great teacher or you're so awesome. Just to see them show up in the building, you're like, yo, what happened? When did you become a girl? I feel like I'm exactly the same dude as when you left, but you are a totally different human being. So Wednesday was catching up with all of these guys, hearing about their experiences, what they think of college, what it's like, the hardships, what's life like, what's starting a career been like for you. It's an experience like nothing else that I can't connect it to anything else. Kind of this moment hit me when I'm talking to these dudes and they start asking about teachers. Like, where's this person? Is this guy in the building? Is this woman in the building? Is this person still in the same classroom? I went up to their classroom and somebody else was in there. To tell kids that certain teachers don't teach at your school any longer it's kind of a hard thing. And so I want to talk about this for a minute because I think it's weird when people show up to teach in Title I schools. For those of you that don't know, Title I school are schools that are typically in low-income neighborhoods, and they have the students come from like low-income family households. When folks come and they try to teach in a low-income neighborhood or in a Title I school for 2 years and then they leave, I think has such a negative effect on the students. And so I wanted to break down that a little bit, right? So maybe you're with me, maybe you're not. I'm just trying to start a conversation. And this is awkward for me, man, because I don't want to upset anyone and I don't want to make it sound like that the people that are coming to teach in Title I schools are like bad for leaving. What I'm saying is this. For the past 12 years, I've only taught in Title I schools, right? And I don't even like that title. I feel like we like assume we know what it means if you say Title I school, right? But like, I taught in Camden, New Jersey. I teach in West Philadelphia. That's all I know. It's so attractive to want to teach somewhere that is kind of tough, right? It makes people maybe feel like they're a better teacher than other teachers are. I mean, to be honest, how many movies do they have that are about like, you know, affluent school districts, right? It's always the movies that really get your heartstrings pulled are all these movies like The Dangerous Minds and The Freedom Writers and all of these folks that like are trying to serve the downtrodden and build them up. But for every like school of rock, there's always like 4 Freedom Writers-ish kind of movies, right? I don't doubt that anyone that comes to a school, to any school really, but these types of schools in particular, it's something in their heart that they want to serve like underprivileged and underserved children. Now here's the tricky part for me. It's because then comes the students. So I think the overwhelming idea is that there are kids in low-income schools or Title I schools or in the hood that are eagerly waiting for some teacher to please show up and help them find their way in life. And then what I've seen happen time and time again are teachers that show up, they plan these great lessons, the classroom is on point, the lesson is on point, they're excited to be there, and then they see that the kids could care less that they're there. And so they persevere for a month or a year or 2 years, and then slowly but surely they get kind of like ground out and they can't figure out how to be successful. So they figure this school's not a good fit for me. I'm gonna go somewhere else. And I don't think that's the answer. I think there are too many educational programs that try to get young people to believe that poor people of color, especially, are sitting there like just waiting for someone to save them. And no one's waiting to get saved. When I'm talking about my students, no one was waiting for me to show up, right? I knew that I could have a positive impact. I knew that I could do good work and really help, but I also knew that that was going to take time. If you want to be successful in any school, you're going to have patience and time and be vulnerable. Because a lot of students that come from hard neighborhoods, right, have kind of been hardened a lot of times. If you've ever had your mom and dad get divorced and your mom gets a new boyfriend, you didn't like run to that dude with open arms probably and be like, Dad, you're finally here, right? Or if you've ever been cheated on by your girlfriend and the next time like someone wants to hook up, you're like, yo, let's take this slow. I'm not sure how fast I want to get into this. I want to be careful this time, right? Or if a coworker like dissed you and like threw you under the bus, or if a boss wronged you in some way, you're going to be more mindful the next time. You're not going to be so quick to jump into that relationship again. And students are the same way. If you come from a neighborhood, from a house, from a situation that's been hard, then you're going to be less likely and less eager to jump into the next relationship. But if you find that right person that sticks it out for 2, 3, 4 years, someone that you can come back to a school in 10 years and they're still rocking it, still in the same classroom, doing the same thing, putting in the hard work and grinding it out, those are the folks I think that really make an impact. And to take it back to college day, I think what happens is when you go to a school and you stay for 2 years and you do either your good deed or your due diligence and you try your best, sometimes it's a good idea to leave, right? Sometimes it's not a good fit. And it doesn't mean you're a less teacher. It doesn't mean you're any worse off. I think students in all schools need care. I think students that live in low-income neighborhoods or harder neighborhoods have certain needs, just like I think kids that come from affluent districts have certain needs. It doesn't mean that their lives are perfect. They might be dealing with all kinds of pressures outside to do good, to be good, to live up to something else. And they're going to need care and an adult that's going to help them to guide their way through that just as much as any other kid. Being a kid is hard. Whoever out there says being a teenager is awesome, like I don't know where you lived. Even every show you watch about teenagers from Dawson's Creek to Riverdale, it's hard out there, man. It's not easy. You know, you're trying to figure yourself out. You're trying to separate yourself from your parental unit that's been telling you how to think and feel your whole life, and now it's on you for the first time, and it's hard to navigate those waters. So I think all kids need care. I'm just saying that when you teach at a Title I school, I'm most certain that at more affluent districts, whether it's a private school or a really nice suburban school or even a nice blue-collar neighborhood, right? There's probably less of a conversation about, are you going to come back next year? At my school, every April, the conversation starts. Hey, are you coming back next year? Hey, did you hear so-and-so's leaving? And then you find out that 5 to 10 or more people are leaving your school. What that does to the students is it takes students that have sometimes very little consistency in their lives, and when you leave, it's perpetuating that cycle. It's saying, I finally found someone that I think I can trust and lock in with, and then they left. And that is hard on kids. On Wednesday, when they came back, I could see it in their faces. It's hard on kids. And not everyone leaves for a bad reason. You know, I have really great friends that have gone on to like pursue doctorates. They're still putting in good work somewhere else. Their life situation shifted or changed and they had to take care of someone or move somewhere. I get it. I don't mean to down anyone because it's not my place to judge. But what I can do is put this idea out there because I think it's worth thinking about. If we make this job about the kids, then I think it shifts our thought process. You know, in the end, I knew where I wanted to teach for as long as I wanted to teach. I knew that I wanted to teach in a school that was like mine. I knew what subject area I wanted to teach. I had a feeling that my personality, my connection with young people would take me far in a school like mine. And I found a fair level of success being where I am. You know, do I wish things were different? Do I wish I had more money, more resources, that people wouldn't leave? Of course I do. I love community. I think that the way we help kids is not by showing up and trying to be the great savior, but by working together with other teachers and as a group raising them up. You know, the adage of it takes a village to raise a child, I think that's 100% true. Some movies on a certain level can be damaging that say, you know, the one person stepped in and did this thing. I think it works a whole lot better when you try and work together as a team. So that's what's on my mind. It's, you know, I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings or upset anyone or piss anybody off. I'm just saying that I think this is worth saying, and it's something that's on my mind. So, and it's real Rap with Reynolds, not, you know, bullshit with Reynolds, because that would be a really weird channel. Folks, if you wouldn't mind leaving your comments below, I'm interested to know what you think. I read every single comment. Anymore, it's very hard for me to get back to every single comment, but I do read every single one, and I at least talk to my wife for life about it, if nobody else. But that's that. I hope you have the greatest week ever this week, and that's it. Peace.